Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Michael Grass. This is the Grassroots 304 podcast, episode number 68. And tonight, my special guests are Jesse and the Hogg Brothers, all the way here from, now Louisville, right?
Well, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and so is Kitty Hogg right here. She does vocals for us and some fancy dancing on stage. My name is Jesse Braintree, and I do vocals and percussion. Over here is youngest member of the band.
Yes, my name is Cash Hogg, and I'm from Quincy, Massachusetts. I actually got to meet him because he lived in Rhode Island. So, and we have
Stevie from Florida.
Hey, what's up, Stevie from Florida? You guys are the first family of Texas cowpunk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice title to have.
Well, we became Texas cowpunk because when they asked me about, there's this one club on their website and it said no country music, and we're not really country music, but when we started out we had a fiddle player, so no country music. So what kind of music do you play? I just pulled it out of my head and I said, we play cowpunk. And they go, what's that? I says, it's kind of like punk rock with a twang. And then I didn't realize that was already a genre, and when I found out it was already a genre, so my opinion, and these guys tell me all the time, yeah, you invented cowpunk, until of course you didn't. And then I changed it to Texas cowpunk because I don't think we really sound like other cowpunk bands. I mean, and not to disrespect them, but we don't sound like them. We kind of have our, well, I don't know anyone who sounds like us, and it's probably better off for us and them.
I say this is my first time ever hearing that term cowpunk, so I'll have to dive deeper into it.
It's a big genre. I mean, probably the biggest band, in my opinion, that does it. You got Jason and the Scorchers, you got the Super Suckers, Sonic Youth. There's a lot of bands. The Gun Club. It started in England, actually, and then from there, some bands in the U.S. started popping up. But it's becoming more of a genre now, which is funny. Bands that we played with a band the other night, they call themselves the Devil's Rodeo. Hey, Dwayne. And they come out and they basically, to me, it sounds more like metal, but they're cowpunk. That's what they say they are, because he wears a cowboy hat and a cowboy shirt. That's about as country as they are, but they are a really good band. Dwayne is, I would say it's more rockabilly what they play, with a little bit of a tinge of hard metal, but they put on a great show. We played with those guys a few times. No more endorsements, Dwayne. I'm done.
Okay, when I would think cowpunk, that's exactly what I think. It was like more of a rockabilly style. If you wanted to try to classify it something more, I guess heard of.
There's also folk punk. So everyone wants to. I'm waiting until they come out with metal punk, which is probably going to be the stupidest thing ever.
So it's your music, your sound. It blends satire with genuine music. Where do you draw the lines between parody and authenticity? And is there like a line that's intentionally blurry?
It really depends on what the idea is. I mean, like a song that me and Cash wrote. We wrote "Santa's Got a Bag of Coal." We just wanted to write a Christmas song.
yeah, it really was.
And and that was really it. And then I said, well, let's do a Christmas song about people that are bad. And so I don't think it's a hilarious song or anything, but it's kind of cute. And he wrote the music to it, and it's a great live song to play. It rocks.
What's the inspiration behind that, aside from just being a Christmas song?
I want a Christmas song on every one of my releases. So I'm old school. I think and if people are offended because I put a Christmas song on my albums, then last time I checked, if it's a CD, you hit forward, and if it's on the LP, you can, I guess, turn it off. I don't know. I mean, I wish I could say that when we sit down and write songs, we're doing it for other people, but we're basically doing what we want to do. And if you like it, we love it. We love it. But if you don't like it, that's fine too. I mean, music is like art.
So you either like it or you don't.
You either like it or you don't. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's two kinds of music: the kind you like, the kind you don't.
And a lot of times, those songs start with like just one line, like, I only slept with your sister because she reminds me of you, and it went on from there. Yeah. And then some of them are true stories. like Biker Ann and so.
Now this right here is when we recorded our first two albums in the DFW area of Texas. She was back up north, and I was down hanging with the guys, and we got stuck in the studio running out of song ideas. So we'd call Kitty and say, "Hey, we're out of ideas. What do you got?" And so she's responsible for a lot of the crazy songs.
I said, well, you know, the two of them, they went out, they're fishing and they're drinking. What happens next? Like, they get in a fight.
And then we said, well, what happens after that? So, well, you get arrested.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? And so we ended up writing the song that really goes over well for us in live shows is called "The Legend of the Lesson of Fishing and Drinking." And that's it. We're going to be playing that today.
It's like all these cliche things that you can think of that would happen, you know, like generally in a setting that you could apply to a story and then you make a great song out of.
Yeah, and most of the songs we write, I mean, if they're not about a topic, they're usually about something that really happened either to me or somebody else. And so, you know, that's really me. And I also like to focus on Texas history. And one of the songs that I'm most proud of is on our first CD. It's called The Ballad of Brack Coronet. And because I wanted to write a song about a Texas train robber, bank robber. And when I first looked it up, there was over 300 and something songs written about Sam Bass. Sam Bass is probably the most famous Texas outlaw, and he never got arrested. Never.
Got a lake named after him.
Yeah, I mean he's big time.
Sam
and
Bass.
I said I'm not writing a song about a guy who's got 300 plus songs written about him. So I looked up and I found this guy. His name was Brack Coronet, and on the Texas Rangers website there were 3 sentences. And then from there, in order to write the song, I did research on how you actually did do a train robbery. And next thing you know, I had a song. Well, here it is, like 15 years later, somebody wrote a book and finally did the real history of Brack Coronet, and everything in the song pretty much, it was taken from that. But unfortunately, back in those days, late 1880s, fake news was because they just, you know, it's like passing a chain around the room. You whisper into her ear and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, the whole story changes. Well, that's what happened. And so in the song, I have him living the longest of the gang he's in. But the reality was he got shot long before that. He had the bullet breakfast, just like Jesse James. Come on over, I'll make you breakfast. Boom. And that's how he went, you know. And I also didn't realize, and I would have put it in the song, he loved to pistol whip people. And, yeah, he'd go on, and he was not Jesse James. Jesse James was the gentleman bank robber. He'd come up, and he'd shoot into the sky. Brack would just shoot a couple people and say, come up with your money now. And then after you were nice enough to give him all your things, he would pistol whip you. What a nice guy.
What a genuine.
Yeah, a real gentleman.
Of course.
So but every song's a little different. You know, it's just a different thing strike. And when I don't have an idea, it comes from someone else. I've written a lot of songs I've written some songs with Cash. I've written a ton of songs with Neil Hogg, who does not play with us, but Neil wrote most of the songs with me on our first 2 CDs.
Now, is that your cousin that you started the band with?
Yeah,
Okay.
I started with Neil, and my favorite Neil story is while we were recording the album, we needed an external hard drive for his Mac, and so we go to the Best Buy and walk in, and I say, "Where's the Macintosh expert?" And a guy comes up to me, he goes, "Hi, so what can I help you with?" I said, "I need an external hard drive for an R6," and he says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Are you Macintosh expert or not?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." He goes, "I'm the Mac expert here." I said, OSX, R6. And then he got it and gave it to me. And then he noticed that Neil's wearing a shirt and it's covered with spaghetti sauce. And he goes, "All right, I got to ask, why is his shirt covered with spaghetti sauce?" He said, "Because we had a spaghetti fight." And then he says, "Well, how come you don't have any on you?" I says, "I won." you know. And then when we left there, and we yee-hawing out the door, and everyone couldn't wait for us to leave. And then we ended up pulling up to a taco place, and we walk inside. I'm wearing stretch pants that I bought up in the Boston area that said Lubbock County Jail, because they probably had excess, and they shipped them to what was called Building 19, which is like an Ollie's. And so I bought the prison pants. I'm wearing them, and people in Texas saw that. They were scared. I mean, there's a guy out of the Lubbock jail. Holy shit! And so they all go to the back of the restaurant and scared shit of me. I go to the front counter and I says, and the guy goes, "This order's to go, sir?" I says, "I don't know." I says, "Those burritos are going to stay hot for 15 minutes down to get back to the trailer park?" He goes, "I'm sure they will, sir." You know. And so when we left, we walk out the door. Once we got the burritos, we go, "Yeah!" And we got inside the truck, and he had a big wheel truck, and we peeled out and took off, and the cops were following us. It was great. Yeah, they didn't pull us over, but I said, we're going to get pulled over.
That's what I was thinking. It's like you wouldn't make it very far before they pulled you over and somebody crazy up in there got on the phone and said, "Hey, you got to go get these guys."
Oh, had they pulled me over wearing prison pants, I might have had to spend some time talking to John Law more than I wanted to. But I mean, hey, they probably had bigger fish to fry than deal with my foolishness that day.
Yeah. And you think about the Texas cops, they'd be like a lot more harsh than probably northern cops. What do you think?
Only if they hear a Yankee accent. Back at that time, I mean, there was a bigger thing. Now Yankees are common in Texas.
So where do you get your accent from?
I was born in Texas, and then the family moved up to New England, so I've got this New England accent.
Okay.
And so one time we're playing down in Austin, and I'm up on stage, and we're about to do our "Don't Mess with Texas" song. So I said, "Any Yankees here?" And the guy behind the bar yells, "You!" And I said, "Well, where you born?" He said, "Oklahoma." I go, "Damn Yankee." And so it's been a joke. But I mean, we've had so much fun doing this, and we're a family. Cash is my cousin Stevie, and Kitty's my wife. And so we also have a lot of other band members because it takes a lot to keep a national act going. So we got Kenny Hogg, and then out of the Louisville area, I've got CJ5 Hogg. Last couple of shows, we had Sue E. Hogg, and she also sings together with Kitty. They're the Baconettes. And then I've got a few other members.
On strike the other night, we had to have a demand for 2 songs for us to change. We needed the length of 2 songs to change into our other outfit. One wasn't enough. That's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right now we're really
threatened. We unionized.
Protesting that one.
Yeah, so we we're really pushing a song right now that's done really well for us. I'm blessed. CJ wrote this song.
Is this your new single?
It's really, I guess it's not our newest single because our newest single comes out tomorrow on Spotify and YouTube and all that other stuff, Amazon, blah blah blah. Oh, woof woof. I forgot. It's always blah 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 woof woof.
CJ5.
Yeah. So CJ5 came to me and he played this song for me called "Nobody Spanks Like a Nun," and it didn't make any sense to me, but I liked the concept, and so I changed all the lyrics. But not all of them. He had a good chorus, and so I kept that. But I mean, I kept the song structure the same. And I did a lot of research on nun abuse, and I put it all into a song. And so that thing has done really well for us. And we did a video for it, and it was great. We got 3 different people to dress up like nuns, including. One of my doctors, she asked, I said, "You have the perfect look for a nun." She goes, "Really?" She goes, I'm not Catholic. I go, "I didn't say you were Catholic." But anyway, she starts the video and she goes, "Jesse Braintree, get over here!" And basically, it's a great song, and it's about corporal punishment. And right now, I forgot how high it is on Spotify, but we're approaching 10,000 views on the YouTube video, okay, nice. And so I really feel blessed. And yesterday and Friday night, people actually out here in Berkeley requested it.
Oh, really?
And then
It's getting popular now.
Yeah, and it's growing. But it's a catchy song, and we'll be playing that here, tonight. And so that's really been exciting for us. But we've got a brand new single coming out, and it's not easy to do songs in Spanish.
God, no.
Because none of us...
We've done it before with the song Argentina.
Okay.
And that was a bitch.
It was a lot of fun writing it. And when we went to write that song, I wanted it to be bouncy because I was on the phone. I made some friends through social media from people in Argentina. And I said to him, when I first talked to him, I said, "Oh, it must be really cool. Are you near Rio and stuff?" Because that's all I know. And he says, "I'm not a fucking tourist." He says, "I'm a gaucho." And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking up on the internet, what's a gaucho? And it's basically a cowboy. And I didn't realize their whole economy down there is mostly cows and horses. He says, "That's Argentina, cows and horses." So I went to bed that night thinking cows and horses and cows, Argentina. And that's how the song started. And then I wanted it to be bouncy. And so I mentioned it to the guys, and they're all like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then I put on Simple Simon Says by the 1910 Fruit Gum Company, one of the most obnoxious pop songs. But the song is bouncy. Dun, 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 dun. And so our song has bounce to it. Doesn't sound anything like that song, but it's got the bounce to it. And it's a great song. We did it in English and in Spanish. The English version took about 1 or 2 takes, and the Spanish version, took about 3 hours to do a 3-minute song.
So as far as like the lyrics, what do you have to sign up for Duolingo and take a couple classes to learn what you're going to sing?
I had translators in the booth, and then we've done a few songs in Spanish, but the newest one is called La Luz de Saratoga, and we won't be putting it out in English till our new album comes out, which may be for a while. I'll do the English version, but it really is more appropriate. It's a Texas ghost story. I wanted to do a Texas ghost story, and I read about them, and there was one called The Light of Saratoga, which is how that translates. And so there's a forest in southern Texas called the Big Thicket, and back in the years of lumber in the early 1900s, they built a train track through there. It's 7 miles, and it's since been ripped up and whatever. So if you drive down there at night on that road, a globe appears. And it disappears, comes and appears. So a lot of people had opinions on it, but they've already debunked it. They know what it is. It's a combination of reflections of headlights. Okay. But the bottom line is they have different ghost stories for it. And when I went to write the song, I listened to the different ghost stories, and the one I liked was the one I wrote the song about, where basically, in order to build the railroad, the guy who needed to build the railroad for the railroad company, he contracted a Mexican road gang. And then once he got paid for everything, he didn't want to pay them, so he just killed them all and threw them in the swamp. Oh, shit. And so in my song, that's what the spirit is. And it's I think with everything going on these days, it's probably very entertaining to hear a song in Spanish about the exploitation of Mexicans by evil gringo. So that was at least my motivation. And I'm sorry if I've offended anybody. No, I'm not.
Yeah, not anybody.
But I mean, I think it's a great story. It's a great song, and it's far from our normal sound because it's eerie. It's got some really creepy sounds in it. And our guy who plays with us, he now lives in Macon, Georgia. He was in the Boston area when I met him. That's the great Joe Bob Hogg. I always ask him, why, cuz, why do you play with me? I says, because you play with really, you've played with national big names, and he says, I have fun playing with you guys. You make me laugh. He says, that's why. He goes, but don't expect me to be there every night. So we've played with him once in the last year. But when he shows up, Well, a lot of the guys in the band don't like it. Oh, so he's going to do every solo? I says, can you play like him?
He gets this like special attention.
He plays a phenomenal slide. He's got a pedal board that is ridiculous. He also plays lap steel, banjo. I mean, and then we did a radio interview in Boston where you sit down. We did the radio interview, and he comes in. He has this brass resonator guitar. And say it's like 65 pounds. And so me, Cash, and Joe Bob are in the studio, and we just did a few acoustic songs. The noises coming out of that thing are tremendous, and we've gone and put them on recordings in the studio recordings, adding resonator. He has like a dulcimers, whatever, all these weird string instruments that he's played that really make us sound cool. And I've just been blessed that I've got a lot of talented family members that want to play with the band. We used to have a fill-in guy that would fill in on drums, but he tried to steal my drum kit. You know who you are. And basically he still goes online and brags about being in the band and claiming that the band was mismanaged, and when the truth is it's spelt THEIF. Thief. That's it.
Now it's out there. Everybody knows.
No, everyone
There's
already
no
knew.
mismanagement with the band, right.
And it was funny. Just about a few months ago, a guy contacts me online. He says, "Do you know this guy?" And he said he was in your band. I says, "No, he's a fill-in." And he said he's a fill-in, and he tried to steal shit. I says, "Please don't post that online." I says, "I just really want it to go away, But now I'll say it because the years have passed, and I do respect the fact that I told him don't ever contact me, and he hasn't since.
Right. You got to keep it professional.
Yeah.
That's the one way to keep it professional after everything's been fucked up, right?
Or something like that.
Hey, so we've got a few more questions, then we got to wrap it up because it's actually 8 o'clock now. And you guys are going to be starting like right now. So one thing we talked about earlier, you had a song that got put into a movie. What was that called? Attack of the Killer Chickens?
Oh, we're actually in the movie.
You're actually in the movie. Okay,
yeah.
So it's not just your music.
The people from Cluck Cluck Productions, Dave Stein, Jen Rossi. Hi, Jen. You are wonderful. I saw your recent film, and man, God bless you, girl. You go, girl.
What's her recent film?
I forgot the name of it, but she sent me a link, and I went and watched it. She's been inside like some Walking Dead things and stuff. She's been in over 100 movies, and so look her up, Genevieve Rossi. She's and so she had this concept, little short film she made called Attack of the Killer Chickens. Then they wrote it out to be a full movie, and so Dave Stein, who runs Cluck Cluck, contacts me and says. He goes, "I want you guys to be in the movie. I want you to be the country band." And I said, "Okay." And I knew Dave from years ago, so it was great. So we went to New York City, and we go to the Letterman building, and there's this little small room that is not even this size.
Oh, yeah.
It was probably half the size.
It's pretty much half the room. Yeah. Just half of this room.
Okay.
And so they said, this is the kill scene. And we filmed this before we did our show. So they basically say, you're just going to start saying a few nonsense about the show, and then basically there's going to be a knock on the door. So I'll let you tell the rest.
Oh, God. And so we had to put a lot of fake blood on us as well.
Okay.
So
nice.
that was a lot of fun. So we each get killed by chickens. And
Really?
And it's the best thing that you could ever see.
Yeah, murderous chickens. Attack
Seeing
of the killer
Jesse
chickens.
seeing Jesse getting pecked to death by chickens is one of the funniest things I've had the pleasure to see.
Chicken knocks on the door. Yeah. And you said, what did you say when they knock?
Really nice thighs.
No, you knock on the door, and he goes, and Cash looks through the door and goes, "It's that hot chick," and everyone goes, "Let her in," and then all the chickens come in and peck us to death. So, but we got coated in so much cinema blood. They had like these bottles of oil that you'd use for a quart of oil, and it's that fake vampire blood shit, and they're pouring it all over us.
So thick too.
And I said, and it's soaking into our clothes. And of course, you got to wear the same outfit when you do the stage show. So we're in New York, and they got those water controlled. So I'm trying to wash the shirts, and you press the faucet, it turns off. You press the faucet, it turns off. It took forever to wash those shirts and get us ready for the show. So some of us were wearing wet shirts on stage when we did our set. But they filmed our entire set, and what was great about it, when they were done, they only used like 10 seconds of this song, whatever. And so Dave says to me, he goes, "Do you want the tapes from the soundboard?" And that is our album, Live in Harlem. And so it's a great live album. In fact, tonight's a CD release party,
That's
and
right.
we'll be giving those out to everybody who comes in. So
Here tonight, yeah, and we're expecting a big crowd tonight too.
I'm hoping so. And but we we at least conceptually like to do the same show. Anyway.
Oh, absolutely. No matter who's there, no any amount.
Yes, but it's not the same show each time, though, is it?
No.
Okay.
You
switch it up a little.
we might. I mean,
Might have the same jokes.
we might have this. Well, I mean, one of the jokes. I mean, we like to tell some of the same jokes, yeah. And I mean, every time we do a show, I will say my mother is a hog. You know, because I'm Jesse Braintree and everyone else is a hog. So you know, and so they say, well, and it's the truth. My mother was a hog, and so you know, she married my dad, and he's a Braintree, but the rest of us are all hogs, and so that's how the relationship is. And so I wrote a book called My Mother Was a Hog, and I thought I only had a minimal amount pressed because I said no one's going to buy a book, and I don't have any more. I only have one copy I kept, and I don't want to repress it because I don't want to do that again. I would want to change the book, so I probably will.
No, one last question.
Sure.
If it were any kind of hog, what kind of hog would it be?
Razorback.
Razorback.
Razorback hog.
Okay.
I would like to be a big pink pig because we have this song called The Big Pink Rig, but when we play in front of family-friendly audiences, it's a little risque, and so we change it to The Big Pink Pig, and we tell a story about this pig that ate so much, he grew so big that he broke out of the one part of the farm, goes to the other side of the farm, and eats all the cows' food, and then we go to the chorus, which is basically
Oink,
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 moo, 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 oink, 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 moo, 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 oink, 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 moo, 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 it could happen to you, but the original song is about this big pink rig where a guy hears a sexy voice on the CB and he pulls into the truck stop, he gets in, sees the big pink rig, hops in the rig, and then she shut the door and hit the lock, and what he thought was going to be a fox ended up being more of a bovine type of action. Yeah, so it gets pretty graphically funny, or not funny, depending how it is. I know he wants to talk about the holidays. He's just got a few words he wants to say.
Let's hear it, man.
Christmas is coming.
That's right. Steve says Christmas is coming. We do this song called Cashville, and at the very end on the recording it says Christmas is coming. And so when Steve's on stage, he doesn't sing. He can sing, but he doesn't. And when we play Cashville, he always says Christmas is coming. So I wanted to make sure we got that in the interview, because that's his favorite line. But we're playing all over the country. We would like to play.
Where you got coming up next? You got anything special?
Next,
of course, every show is special, but like, what's
No, not every show is. I mean, if we've played there a bunch of times, it's like it's a place we play. We're already don't. We get excited and yeah, we expect something. We have an expectation level. But when you go play a place you don't know about, we find out.
Okay.
Well, just like tonight, we'll find out.
Find out how it is.
Place could be packed, place could be empty. We're still going to come out and play.
We're hoping for a good show. It is, Father's Day, and it is a Sunday, but you know what they say: never miss a Sunday show. So.
I agree. And, one thing I would like to tell people is that, we've got a new album that's going to be coming out. That's hopefully in this year. We're working on it. We still haven't finished writing all the songs.
You got a name for the album?
But yeah, we do. It's called Songs About Food and Other Topics, or something like that. And we also have a song about the Uranus Fudge Factory on it. And so it's because the best tasting fudge comes from Uranus.
Of course,
so,
all right.
Of course. And we've got a song called Tater tots, and we've got a song called let's see, Ranch Dressing, which is and no, that's and CJ, who's not here, he's our bass player, and he had to get back because he's got obligations in the morning on Monday. So, but CJ basically said, he says, I'm gonna do a solo project. So he's got that's gonna be coming out probably before our album, and it's called I Will Rest My Head by CJ5 Hogg, and it's got 4 songs on it: Mother Goose Me, Gary Crab, Roach, and for some reason the other one's eluding me. But we wanted to play Roach, so on Friday night at Jimmy's we played Roach. Roach is a very vulgar song, but it's about a good friend of mine. His name is Roach. Roach is his name, and that's us. And
is it because he's dirty, or is he just like smoking?
No, that's his. It's actually his. It's his actual last name. Actual last name. Right. And so when you meet him, he doesn't usually use his first name. He goes, "I'm Roach," because that's what everyone calls him. Right, yeah. And he's a really great guy. But I remember when he was on the phone talking to someone in my backyard, and I used that for the song, and I'll just leave it at that.
He's a great guy if you don't owe him money or anything.
Yeah, you don't want to owe him money.
Don't get on Roach's bad side.
You do not want to owe Roach. If you owe Roach, if you owe a Roach money, he will collect.
That's a fact, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you saw him, you say, that guy's not going to collect nothing. I go, yeah. I says, he may look like he's 98 pounds. I said, I've seen that guy lift up stuff. He's like an ant. He can pick up stuff 3 times his weight. You do not want to mess with Roach. You do not want to mess with Roach.
Yeah, we could have used him earlier with all the shit we had going on
he
stage.
He wanted to come on this trip, but I decided I don't know if I can bring him. I was afraid he was going to get too looped and maybe get out of control. But he probably would.
Bound to happen in West Virginia.
Every woman he sees, he goes, "Hey, girlfriend."
All right.
And every guy he sees, he'll introduce himself by usually threatening you in his own nice way. But he's a nice guy, and I've seen him do so many nice things, as much as I've seen him do some stuff that he probably shouldn't do. But I mean, aren't we all?
He loves dogs.
He loves dogs. Don't. If you're bragging about abusing an animal, you do not want to talk about him. He's like my old buddy Joe. We were at this show many years ago, and this kid was bragging about how he trapped a cat, kept it in his refrigerator, and he's talking about torturing it and everything else. I had to literally go into the men's room and pull my buddy Joe off him. I thought he was going to kill him. He just would not stop punching the guy.
Wow.
He had a dead cat with him.
He brought the dead cat to the show and threw it up on stage at the band.
Yeah, that's pretty rock and roll. Yeah,
it's pretty disgusting. It was a Gigi show.
We like cats.
Gigi Allen, right?
Yeah, I knew Gigi for years, and we do one of Gigi's songs, and I don't want to. I mean, what a lot of people will talk about Gigi because they saw the movie Hated or whatever. I didn't know that guy. I knew Gigi, and nice guy. And
is his persona off stage completely different than on stage?
No, I mean he became very scary, But I remember him as I met him, and that's how I usually remember most people, is how you meet them,
He never threw his shit at you, did he?
No, he did piss on me once. He pissed on my leg.
Was it a jellyfish sting?
No, he just did it, and then he says, "Now I've pissed on all my record labels."
Oh,
Because I had worked with him on a few of the early albums, and I used the fake name as a producer because I can't be having this stuff at my house. But now I'm all on the open about it, because when I first started the band, we didn't want to talk about that element, and now we do one of his songs, "Hanging Out with Jim." But I mean, I don't want to do more than that because I think that's in the hands of other people, like his brother and other people. I mean, we're our own music. We're Jesse and the Hogg Brothers. We want to do our stuff. So again, Stevie Joe Hogg, Cash Hogg, Jesse Braintree,
Kitty Hogg.
And my mother was a hog.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sitting down and chatting with me and being real cool and open.
Well, hopefully we'll meet again. It's a small world, and and so far our experience in West Virginia has been super positive. We love you guys.
We want to send you guys out with a bang tonight, so yeah, we love you too.
Yeah, all right, great.
Thanks again, you guys. Oh, go ahead and shout out your social media where people can find your music at.
It's real easy. If you, I know it's long, but it's the band name, Jesse and the Hogg, Hogg Brothers.com, and that'll take you to our website. But we're on every social media. You can find us. Our music is on every social platform. So whether it's Spotify, YouTube, and many of them that I never even heard of, Apple Music, obviously. But I mean, some of them people go, I heard you on this. I go, I don't even know what you're talking about, because there's just so many music platforms. And I mean, again, it's been a labor of love, and I've said this a million times. When this stops being fun, we're done.
That's it, yeah.
Because our number one goal is we're here to have fun, and everyone else has their different goals, and our goal is to have fun. And if people like our music, great, and if people don't like our music, that's okay too.
Right.
And, some people like spaghetti and some people like hot dogs.
If you don't like it, just turn the channel, turn the next song, right?
Yeah, it's one of the things I tell people. It's like it was on Alice Cooper's second album. He said, if you don't like it, turn it off.
There you go. Alex Cooper, one of the greats. He says it right. If you don't like it, turn it off.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Pretty easy concept.
Look at it right over here, Jesse. You're good, buddy. It's okay. Yeah. Again, thank you all. I appreciate it.
We do want to thank Jesse Lee.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Jesse, thanks for putting all this together. You can step in here if you want. You can write out a shot. He says, I'm good. Yeah, thanks for putting all this together. I know it was kind of on the fly, and we talked about this briefly last weekend at Mountain Music Festival. So, yeah, be able to just make it happen. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, we're going to get up on stage. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you guys like watching the show, you can watch more on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Just search for the Grassroots 304 podcast, and you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Mike Grassroots. You can support live local music and check out places like this here at Live at the Shop, 1233 Ohio Avenue in Dunbar, West Virginia. And check out Jesse and the Hogg family, right? Hogg Brothers.
Hogg one time we were the Hogg family, but we're Jesse and the Hogg Brothers.
Hogg Brothers. Check them out. Go see them live. It's going to be a show you won't want to miss. So thanks again for watching. You guys, thank you all. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great night. Yeehaw. Y'all do anything special right before you go on stage? Like a big yeehaw or like I don't know, anything? Sometimes people have like a special ritual.
No, they go on cigarettes.
Yeah, right.
They go on cigarettes.
The beer and cigarette. Right.